You are now listening to For All Nerds Show, a podcast about geek and pop culture from the perspective of people of color. For All Nerds is hosted by DJ Ben Amin and Tatiana Keene Jones. For All Nerds Show is a member of the Loudspeakers Network, where we always say rest in peace to our founder, Combat Jack.
For All Nerds Show is powered by our listeners. Everything we do, from our podcasts, live events, our website, are all independently funded. Please continue to support us through our Patreon page at patreon.com/forallnerds.
I am Thor, son of Odin, and as long as there is life in my breast, I am running out of things to say.
Great, another broken white boy for us to fix.
That's my secret, Cat. I'm always angry.
You took everything from me.
I don't even know who you are. With great power comes great responsibility.
I can do this all day.
Wakanda forever!
And welcome, Internets, to another episode of Views from the 616, the blackest MCU podcast in the multiverse, powered by For All Nerds, where we discuss everything in the MCU from the perspective of people of color. And it is one of your hosts, Tatiana King, a.k.a. Tatiana Kang the Conqueror, a.k.a. Doc Aki, a.k.a. T'Challa Bread, a.k.a. Fax the Destroyer, the Book of Ashanti, Skrull Obsidian, Miles Tails the Prowler, and AR Lord. And as always, I'm joined by my illustrious, well-dressed, well-manicured co-host.
I'm not sure about that last part, but I'll go with it. Manicured is a stretch. But yes, it is your boy, DJ Ben Hameen. And damn it, I lost all my AKAs right there. So I'm going to come back to them real quick. Because it's your boy, DJ Ben Hameen, a.k.a. Chewbacca Khan, a.k.a. Lando Californication, the Riz Skywalker, the High Revolutionary. I am Groot. Peter Trill, the legendary Star-Lord of Mercy, here in the spaceship tonight.
Why does that one always catch me off guard?
Star-Lord of Mercy. Of course I'm Jamaican. Lord of Mercy. I'm not Jamaican, y'all, at all. Like, don't get it twisted. The dreadlocks are not, I have a lot of West Indian friends. Shout out to all of them.
Well, one of the Avengers would probably think you're a Rasta because you have locks. So.
Wow. One of the Avengers would probably arrest me, but, that's a whole nother story. Most of the Avengers. Because they're cops, did it? You know what I mean?
12 Avengers.
Yeah.
Yes. Ben, are you done with your AKs?
I think so.
Okay.
And with my rant about police, as well.
All right.
Yeah.
Right at the top of the hour of Views from the 616. Yes, we are back. We are back to discuss everything Secret Invasion. This week we are talking episode 2 titled Promises. Before we get to the details there, I want to let you guys know, you see me rocking the Anti-Scrolls Social Club t-shirts. You can get these only at ForAllNerds.com in 2 flavors. We got the light pink with the neon green and the neon green on the black with the butter. What is this? This is like a
puff print, baby.
Puff print, raised print. I mean, everyone's looking at me just rub on myself. But hey, listen.
Hey, sometimes you got to do it to sell these
Sometimes
shirts.
you got to do that. And you probably would be seeing me do that if you're on YouTube, right? YouTube.com/ForAllNerdsTV. But if you don't see me doing things to myself, you will be listening right now on your favorite podcast platform. And as mentioned, Ben,
definitely just sold a bunch of shirts right there.
I hope so. We saw episode 2. Last week I mentioned, Ben, how we got the episodes early. Kinda.
Not so much for me. I could do this at Fox dance though.
Yes.
They said Ice Spice was doing that shit during BET.
This man does not stay on the topic at all. I'm trying to
move these shirts.
Trying to get it going.
Yep.
Yes, Ben, last week, you actually got to see both episodes, so I had to catch up since I was on Earth 42. But now I'm back, and I caught up, and I saw episode 1, obviously, but I also saw episode 2. And just to kind of back you up on some of the things you said last week when you were talking about episode 1, violence. It's all the violence, always, all the time when it comes to this show. It does have it is a little bit different from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, it's in that vein of realism in terms of, like, this is not like a fantastical type of show. Like, it's not a Loki. It's not a WandaVision. And it's more on the lane of a Falcon Winter Soldier, but it's a little bit different too. Honestly, it was giving me Pulp Fiction tease, and only because of the certain scenes with Nick Fury, because Samuel Jackson, I feel like sometimes nowadays, like he's playing himself just in slightly different flavors.
Outfits, yeah.
Slightly different outfits, slightly different like hairstyles, but he's kind of still playing himself. Kind of like how The Rock does and like everything he does, right? It's just like, it's still you, but just a little bit, just a smidge different.
Mm-hmm.
But you still love him for it, right? So
yes.
I will say the first episode was a bit slow for me. It wasn't boring, but it was a little bit slow for me. And then this episode picked up the pace. Episode 2 picked up the pace a bit more for me.
How did you feel about Maria Hill?
I didn't care.
Wow.
I'm not gonna fucking hold you. Like, I like Maria.
Cold as ice to me.
I like Maria as a person. Am I invested in her as a character? Not really.
Yeah, I agree right there, actually, 1,000%. I think the actress, I can't remember her name, but she's phenomenal. She's hilarious. She was the one thing, I never watched it, but I know on How I Met Your Mother, she's phenomenal. And, yeah, they gave her nothing.
And also, it was pretty unceremonious how she went out, my guy. Like,
oof, that was cold-blooded, too. I mean,
it was pretty,
damn.
and that's probably also what I mean, besides how I guess you could call it a bias, but my general bias of like neutrality when it came to her, the way she went out was also very like, another spy is dead. Goodbye. Like, all right.
One more cop gone.
Like it wasn't, she died in the line of duty. Okay. You died the way you're supposed to die. Like, how the fuck else? Like, if a fucking portal came out of nowhere and, Thanos' hand came through it and crushed her to death, then maybe I might feel it way, right? But that didn't happen. It was just, you got popped. All right.
I also got to say, it was kind of like, damn, Nick Fury really is slipping, because they had no code word or nothing, for that. Like,
now, I will say the most important part of her being popped was the fact that we all know that Maria is Nick Fury's road dog.
Yeah.
Like, that's his ace, all that stuff. So for her to go out like that hurt him. And you felt that hurt from him.
Do you feel like that's a case of fridging, where her death is used to motivate the male character?
And you did say this last week. Now that I've seen the episode,
I don't really 100% say that.
Not 100%, because he was already motivated.
He was already motivated.
And yes, and guys, we're just kind of really quickly recapping episode 1 into
and
episode
it's also
2.
because he also kind of
shrugs
shrugs
a little
off.
Bit of 2. Yeah,
he also shrugs off her mom, like whatever.
It's a little bit, it's a smidgen of fridging, but more so, it was just more confirmation of the path that he was already walking down. He had said multiple times, even before her, that, hey, yo, I'm coming back from my space station because this is my war.
And also, it's confirmation that they had nothing to do for Maria Hill, and like might as well just get her.
They had nothing to do, except for show her. They clearly had nothing to do with Ross, but also that was a Skrull, so it didn't fucking matter. But
I wish they'd done him in.
Oh, the real Ross?
Yeah, definitely. Over Maria
Hill.
Over Maria Hill. He
survived so many near deaths. I mean, he went to Wakanda.
He got shot once, and this should have been the end.
Well, it wasn't him, so it
not like Maria Hill should have gotten, her near death escape. At least she didn't,
Right. Well, that's how I felt, Ben. I mean, to answer your question. And then leading into episode 2, this whole episode, again, the one of the major themes. Fury is washed. Fury is old. Fury is off his game. Like, they keep pushing that. And I'm like, bro, I hope this is not the narrative the entire, 4 more episodes to go. Like, I get it. Man's is Old Man River. Can we do something else and move on? Like, I feel like, of course, they're trying to do the hero's journey with him again, right? We see in this episode, like, he's kind of just failing at life, or failing at life as Nick Fury. And then towards the kind of middle end, he gets fired, right? How do you get fired from a clandestine group? I don't know, but he got fired. So I say hero's journey because, like, he kind of loses himself. He's kind of seems it's happening. He's losing himself, and he has to build back up to some new version of the hero, some new purpose. And I feel like that's to me is kind of predictable that's where this is going. And also, you kind of also see a little bit of history about how Gravik came to be, his whole villain origin story. And can you really call him a villain? Not necessarily.
Yes.
Because he kind of has. I kind of fuck with Gravik a little bit.
I don't fuck with Gravik at all still. Like, his plan makes...
I kind of fuck with him a little bit.
Yeah,
not that his plan... And not about his... Let me be clear. I'm not talking about how he planned shit. Like,
well, that's... You got
it could be better.
You got it. No, not that part. My part is that, dog, you got at most 1 million Skrulls down with you, right? At most. You really don't. There's 1 million on Earth.
He has 100K at most.
Okay, so let's say you got them all down with you. There are billions of people on this planet, and you plan to kill them all so you can take over the planet.
If I was a Skrull, it'd be easy.
What?
If I was a Skrull, it'd be easy.
No, my point is, what are you going to do with the rest of the planet? Like, you just going to murder everyone and then hold down the planet? Well, my understanding
is they're going to fucking end up... They're trying to start a Cold War or into a hot war. They're going to end up nuking the planet. And because that Skrulls are immune to nuclear activity or whatever, they're going to be good. Like, it's kind of easy. He's halfway fucking there.
No, I get that part, but what are you going to run? Like, who's going to run this whole planet with just 1 million people on it? Like,
this nigga, he's Skrull supreme.
Why not just get along with people? It's pointless. Like, you can easily take over the planet without blowing it up.
I don't want these niggas. What did the doctor say in that Spider-Man strip? I don't want to cure cancer. I want niggas to be dinosaurs. That's how this nigga Gravik is thinking. And just from when I say I fuck with Gravik, I just like his determination. I think that's a good word. I like his determination. I like that he, no matter what, he's kind of not wavering, and he's actually following through with what he says. One thing I don't like, and again, yes, if I was a human, he'd be against me. Okay, whatever. But I respect the niggas. I respect what he's trying to do. He's like, look, I'm trying to find a home for my people. I don't fuck with humans. Here's my plan. I'm carrying through with my plan. I'm gonna make it happen for us. Is it the right way? No. Is it kind of like you said, are you finding holes in the plan? Absolutely. If there weren't holes, it wouldn't be a plot. But here we are.
Yeah, but it's like, at least usually, it's like we talked about the Flash Masters. You can be all down with them until they start blowing up hospitals.
Right.
To make you.
It's so this guy start going down.
This guy starts off like, nah, that ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't get down with him because it's just like your plan is foolish from the jump. It's just
so you don't like
outrageous.
You don't like his party planning skills. So you don't want to be down with him.
Nope, not at all. I cannot attend this function. You don't think
he's a good event
Who all gonna
manager?
be there, Gravik? Oh, nobody? Nah, I'm good, bro.
Who all gonna be there?
Nobody? Like,
you don't think he's a good
like, dog, these people have
party
been on
promoter?
It's 95. They've been on the planet like the majority of them like 40 plus years, right?
30 years. They said 30 plus years.
30 plus years?
Yeah.
Dog, like, hip hop and shit, niggas like this shit. You know what I mean? Like, niggas just don't be like, you gonna blow up all this shit, nigga. Like, humans got some dope shit.
I like hip hop. I don't want to kill the humans.
Yeah, like, come on, fam. Like, you go blow up Jay.
But he
might have another album in him.
He's not thinking about that. He wants to. What does
Beyonce?
He don't care about that. He wants Skrullance up there.
I know.
Okay,
yeah.
He wants the Skrull fruits.
Yeah, you're right. They was like Skrull juice, all that shit. Hey yo.
Understand? We want the Skrull sports, like Wii Sports. He wants that shit,
man.
and only that shit.
Can you all niggas hit the dunk? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
why couldn't they? They got the
physical strength. Yeah, but it takes more than that, baby, as we all know. You know what I mean? It's the flavor.
As we also learned in this episode, the Skrulls are up to something. They up to something, and they are, as Ben said before, they robbing brains. But more than that, they're harvesting some stuff, right? Like we see that they're actually harvesting DNA, and I actually paused the frame on one scene to see whose DNA they was harvesting or had already harvested. They've harvested the DNA of such notables such as Groot from the planet B or Planet X, Frost Beast from the planet Jotunheim.
I've seen in Thor.
Call Obsidian, one of Thanos' niggas. And some other folks. Where's Cole Obsidian from? Oh, it says unknown origin. Okay. But the point is, like, and then, their doctors are saying, they've been, besides Robin
the last person is the, what do you call it? The doctor? The extremist from Iron Man.
Oh, the extremist. Yeah.
Which gives you the flame power.
Yeah. So I'm saying all this because, like I said, besides robbing brains, they're also robbing DNA. They are, and they put in, there's some system going on, and they're battling towards something called the harvest. And I just imagine that's when they activate all of these doubles of all of this DNA that has been stolen.
Oh, come on, man. I mean,
It's probably more than that, but I'm just
yeah. I mean, this is a well-trod, as they say, comic book trope with the Skrulls, and that is the Super Skrull. And the Super Skrull in the comic books, the original Super Skrull is a dude named Kilrit. I want to say you pronounce his name. He's a really great character. Like, really, like, some of his stories are really some of the best, like, heartbreaking stories. You know, the Super Skrull really goes through it. But, yeah, he has the powers of the Fantastic Four. So as you see right here, they're getting, because we don't have the Fantastic Four in the MCU, we're getting it. And you've even seen this in the trailer. If you're a person who watches trailers, you see Gravik at one point extend his arm, and Groot's type arm comes out of it. So through these four combinations, we're getting almost the Fantastic Four, because you have the Extremists for the fire, you have Cold Obsidian for the strength and toughness, like the Thing, you have Groot for the stretch, like Mr. Fantastic, and then the ice, I guess, would give you like ice shields, like akin to a force field.
So
like
they're combining all these
Invisible
different aspects to create Super Skrulls.
Or create
Or
one
the
Super
Skrull.
Skrull. Yeah,
Super
remember
Skrull.
that. Yeah, I don't think Gravik's the type to share power. Let's just say.
Well, no one's sharing shit. They just took what they want and they're building the machine. Oh, you said Gravik. Excuse me. I'm thinking of Talos.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, Taylor's not getting none of this.
Yeah.
No.
So like that's kind of that's generally what's going on in this episode. I mean, you see all this stuff happening in terms of Nick Fury allegedly being completely washed, even though he has still glimpses of the old Fury in there, him losing whatever power he has, and then of course what the Skrulls have been up to, just in terms of how deeply they've been integrated into society and have taken over. They are the heads of state. They are the head of the commander of NATO. They are the prime minister of Russia or whatever country. They are the president of the United States and other people that were in there. Whomever.
Yeah. We don't know that yet.
Presidents and prime ministers of
they run up Fox
major
News,
countries.
that type of thing.
What's it called? It was like FXN News or something that was supposed to be Fox News. Yeah.
I love how he said Moscow. Like, not Moscow. He said the Moscow attack. The Moscow attack.
Yeah. And this, I forgot my train of thought there, but what I did do, Ben, I did look back into your notes for this episode and just kind of just compare and contrast what I had seen today. And I mean, I think some of these questions I just answered already, but when you said it several times, even in the last episode, the Skrulls went white. Let's go back to that, because at the very beginning of this episode, we see a flashback of younger Nick Fury, when he's basically recruiting the Skrulls, saying, hey, yo, I know y'all been through it. I'm going to find y'all a new home. I promise you that, but I need you. I need you to help me help you. Yeah. And he says, essentially he says, in order to do this, you have to, pretend to be humans. Will you do this for me? And then one by one, the Skrulls start terraforming themselves and they turn into humans. Now, you had a comment about that. Skrulls went white.
Yes, I did. Because there's a lot in this episode that, to me, I wanted to ask you about now that you've seen it. Because, one, it was a bit interesting. And two, it was a bit heavy-handed. And, it starts from the very beginning of this episode, like you said, with that scene. But there's also the scene on the train when Talos convinces the people that there's no way there'd be a black man going from Moscow to Warsaw because, you'd rather see an alien on this train than that. So there's a lot of it throughout it. There's the help a brother out scene.
Right. We got to talk about that later.
Nick Fury. Yeah. But yeah, with the Skrulls going white, to me, was the first time when I was like, wow, there's really, it's hilarious. But Nick gives them this offer, and behind him, Talos and Nick are standing there, and behind them is a painting on the wall of two, looks like indigenous brownish people. Definitely very brown or black people. And it looks like a classic, painting, like I said before. It's like the type of stuff you'll see in Jamaica, type of stuff you'll see in Dominican Republic, in Ethiopia, wherever you go to this brown or black people, you'll see these type of paintings, pretty much. And so that was interesting. And then he gives them this offer, and all the Skrulls in that scene immediately turn into white people.
The few that we see step up turn into white.
Yeah,
they didn't
we
show
see
everybody.
that people like Gravik, of course, have adopted, black people, but switches between whatever when need be. You know, there's other people in this episode like Fury's wife who has adopted the person of a black woman.
Correct.
But in that scene, everyone turned white, and I think that was very intentional with the black people in the painting behind them, because it's like these Skrulls know what's up. It's much easier to move in this world as a white person in most places than it is as a person of color.
And I think you're right, Ben, that there's some of this is heavy-handed commentary just about race relations and all that other stuff. Like, none of that shit matters to Skrulls, right? They're green. They are a species that can do shit that humans cannot do and withstand shit that humans cannot withstand. So they're in factions now, but when they were where they were when they first got here, they were fucking refugees. They didn't care about none of that shit, right?
Yes.
Of racism and all that stuff was not the main thing. Is how do we blend in and do what we need to do in order to get where we need to be? And to your point, like, it's kind of smart. And I also think there's some explanation for that. When you look at someone like Talos adopted the image of a white man. So I would imagine those people who are there, Talos is the one who called 1 million fucking Skrulls to Earth. So I would think at least some of them would be like, well, if Talos adopted the image of a white person, I probably should too. And
this is not something that they had to watch Talos. They can be on Earth for 5 minutes and figure that shit out.
Sure. But my point is,
the world will teach you that.
My point is, when you see the images of people you respect or follow, you are more prone to just pattern matching. And I can see that also being a factor of why people decided to, as you say, the Skrulls turn white. Yes, of course, Ben. They just came down, saw the race relations, said, y'all fucked up in the head, let me just adopt it. Cool, fine. But that also doesn't explain that some of them also became black or adopted the image of being black, too.
Hey, we all know what that is. You know, once you go...
Black, you never got back. I guess so.
You know what I mean? That's all, easily explainable, fam. You know what I mean?
I would also...
Like I said before, hip-hop. Beyonce.
Right, sure. That could just be personal preferences and the things they see. Yes.
Yeah.
I also think similar to the whole Talos thing, there were people who looked at Nick Fury, like you see Nick Fury, even now as a Wash guy, he still has that standing of being revered.
Oh, yeah.
Of being respected. And even 20 years ago or 30 years ago when he first was recruiting them. So I can also see people saying, you know what? I want to respect and honor, be like Nick Fury. I'm going to turn black.
That's probably why Gravik is black.
Right. And listen, I still fuck with Gravik. I don't know.
I mean, look, as me, the dude who claims every charismatic villain ever, I just do not.
You don't think he's charismatic?
No, I think he's super. I mean, come on, this is Gravik.
He's very charismatic.
Yeah, that dude's fucking super charismatic. You know, like I know.
Even though you confuse him with Reggae Sean Page, so
yeah,
it's not the same guy.
No, not at all. But they need to do a movie together, and I think they're both charismatic actors, and I think this dude's extremely charismatic as Gravik, but I just think they've given him a really stupid plan. And it's like, this just, your plan would go, like...
it's Flag Smashers level stupid.
Yeah, because it's like, you don't need to do that. You've already won the invasion.
You've won. You've technically won the war.
You've already won the war. Now you're just doing to start something that you can't finish.
But more than that, Ben, he, much like that white woman who's like the fucking Terminator... Yeah. He's an absolutionist. Yeah. And I think that's the point. Like, he's an absolutist. Like, it's not enough that we've already won. I want to completely annihilate my ops. Yeah. All of them. I want no choice or chance.
He ain't trying to lift them hoes up, right? He's like, nah, I ain't looking y'all niggas up.
And that's why I respect. But I also respect that, because that tends to what happens, right? The villains always either want to give the long fucking speech and you give the opportunity, or you get what happens when you give niggas an inch. They take a mile, right? And it's just like, oh, well, I'm gonna give you, y'all let you. What happens? Now, obviously, naturally, what would happen? Like, the humans is going to try to uprise. They say you ain't gonna hold me down on my planet. So, of course, like, the threat is always there. He's like, fuck that, I'm eliminating the threat. I'm getting rid of you.
Man, no, that part I fully agree with.
And that's what I'm saying. Why I'm like,
man who likes to,
I understand.
Yeah, eliminate threats.
No problem. He don't have to do it, but that ain't the point. He gonna do it.
Yeah, no, I agree there. I just think that you've already eliminated the threat and you're being foolish. Like, because now you're gonna start some shit that you can't win.
If anything, I think he's being greedy.
Yes.
He's being greedy. Like, Talos and that's where when I said the Malcolm X Martin Luther King thing, and again, the very basic binary version of these
Super
people, because that's not exactly who Malcolm were. But again, and just using that whole Magneto, Professor X comparison too. It's just like, well, one is like, oh, well, we can live in harmony and try.
It's definitely the Magneto.
And it's more of that. And the other one's just like, nah, get rid of these niggas.
Yeah, that's he's definitely the Magneto of the bunch. He's like, no, none of y'all niggas should stay around.
And I've largely effed with Magneto. So like, I understand where he's coming from, and his approach is I don't think it's. I commend the guy for sticking with it. But he don't have to. No, he don't have to.
No, and the other side, I mean, I guess it works for the Skrulls, but I do not believe nuking the planet works for Earth. So I definitely disagree with that one.
Yes, and that's stupid. Because it's like, so you're going to scorch Earth, literally scorch Earth policy just because you want to get rid of what you perceive to be an infestation. Even though this was our motherfucking planet first.
No, we are an infestation. That goes without saying.
We were here first. I don't care. Then you're an infestation too, because y'all came after. I was here first. I am your OG.
No, but capitalist society is an infestation upon the planet. So,
sure.
Yeah.
Are we nuking the planet right now, though?
No,
slowly,
that's my thing.
Slowly we are. But are we doing it right now?
Nuking the planet is extreme and
correct.
Yeah, no.
And he keeps saying, I'm just hastening the inevitable. And in those ways, like, damn, nigga, you not seeing the forest for the trees. Like, can we?
At least we got Beyonce, like during the inevitable. Like,
say Beyonce. Beyonce is the only one worth saving.
I mean, she's one. There's others.
Yeah. But you mentioned you felt that he was cold-blooded. Gravik.
Yeah, definitely, because he's out here. He murdered his mans. Like with no problem.
Was that really his mans? If you are completely convinced you're fighting a war and you know that nigga's lying and you know that nigga snitched, you know that nigga.
I mean, he already snitched. What does it matter now? You got him back.
You can't have a snitch on by your side. You can't. It's a power play.
Nigga was being tortured.
It's nigga.
Everybody gonna snitch.
It's
Yo,
a power
bitch
play.
Ass with a snitch.
But I mean, for the same reason, in every fucking spy movie, when the person who snitches get caught, what do? They eat the cyanide pill, because they're going to die anyway. They're going to die on their own terms. They are told, if you get captured, kill yourself because you can't come back here. That's just, once again, just like how Maria died. It's part of your job. You decided to be a warrior and an operative. This is one of the things that might happen to you.
I mean, he also murdered a bunch of humans and plants to nuke the Earth. Is pretty much why I said he was cold-blooded,
Well, that too.
Yeah.
What about the animals? No one's talking about the animals.
That's Earth. That's what I'm talking about. That is all like, people who have, that's, the whole ecosystem that has no control of anything, that lives in harmony without humanity, and you're trying to nuke that to nothingness. Like, no, that's where I lose. That's where you lose me completely. No, that's horrific. You're worse than the Flashmasters. You're a complete moron. Yeah, no, I cannot agree with Gravik at all. Now that I think about it just for a hot second. Because the fact that I can be down with you killing every human on the planet. That, whatever.
Well, I will never be down with that. Like I said, I don't agree with the man. Let me be clear, I don't agree with the man. I understand where he's coming from.
Humanity's a cancer on the planet. But when you start talking about, cows, like, come on, man.
What about the puppies?
Yeah, puppies? No. Now
they're innocent. They're innocent.
Little pigs? Come on, we got to fight. Pigs are
not
awesome.
Babe, not your love for Babe.
Yeah,
trying to
pigs are awesome, dog.
Charlotte's Web shit.
Yeah.
You mentioned Wolverine for some reason. What's the connection with Wolverine?
That was just me making jokes, because Gravik is in the nuclear reactors that look like the same thing that was in Wolverine Origins. And I'm just making
that horrible
movie. Look, hey, the MCU is all one big melting pot at this point, so I'm just making some connections there. You said that you had something, that you really wanted to express about this episode that I really wanted to know about, before.
Yeah, we did touch on it already with the whole turning white thing, but I absolutely wanted to talk about that conversation between Nick Fury and Rhodey.
It was interesting.
It was very interesting.
Rhodey's a cop.
He's a cop, 100%. 100% the feds.
Feds.
100%.
100%.
But it was a very real
had that white man telling him what to do with no problem.
It was a very real help a brother
out Negro friend
speech. Help a brother out speech from Nick Fury. And
that was trifling too.
From two grown ass black men. What was trifling? Was trifling from Nick's standpoint or trifling from Rhodey's standpoint, or both?
I mean, no, I agree with Nick. right? And I love that they, made an example of Alexander Pierce and brought it back to Robert Redford's character from Captain America: Civil War. People who don't remember who Alexander Pierce is.
Yeah, who's that?
And that he was the mediocre white man who had their job.
Right.
And that was a great line and a great callback to, a mediocre white man who somehow made it to the top and was terrorizing everyone, being a mediocre white man. So I thought Nick was right, but it's also like you can't just call on that when you out here looking crazy too. Like you can't be like, yo, help a brother out, when helping a brother out might get everybody killed.
This is also not some random in the street, right? He's known this nigga for like 100 years.
True indeed. He sunned this nigga. Like he, raised this man. So Rhodes is a cop. That like, look, folks, I hate to bring it up again, but Rhodes, didn't I say this last week that Rhodes stood by while this man said, where's my Rhodey? And, then he got blasted out the sky.
But was that before or after he got blasted out the sky? I thought that was after he got blasted.
That's the point. The man says, bring me back my Rhodey.
Did he hear them say that? What do you mean? What was he supposed to do? Like, don't call me a little boy, white man. Like, what was he supposed to do?
No, in my perfect world, the scene would have gone like this. He said, bring me back my Rhodey. And then Rhodes is like, what? And then he gets hit because he's, distracted by this racism this man just said.
Distracted by racism. I love it.
Instead of him being distracted by, what was it? Because he got distracted by Vision. No, Vision shoots him. I can't remember why he gets whacked. But, just right before that, he's like, bring me back my Rhodey. And then Vision shoots and somebody jars Vision, I think, right? That's what happened. I think Tony jars Vision. I can't remember, but
I really don't remember. That was so long ago.
Yeah, but Rhodes gets hit after he says, bring me back my Rhodey. And, Rhodes never, whooped that man's ass for that. I don't know. Like, I've heard people trying to defend that line, and I don't get it. But Rhodes, without that line, whatever, throughout this, Rhodes is the feds.
He really is.
Straight up. Like, Nick is the feds, too. But Rhodes is really the feds.
Nick Fury, but he's rogue feds at this point. He's on the outside.
Himself red, white, and blue and got in that armor with no problem.
Absolutely. I mean, we're going to see that in
he better have
Iron
a new
Wars.
Suit. He better go back to the black and white in that hoe. He cannot wear that red, white, and blue shit he was rocking in Infinity War. This shit was a travesty. And I know that from the comments. It was a travesty in the comments too. Calling himself War
Well, the
Machine,
current
the whole
Captain
thing is a
America
travesty.
the current Captain America Falcon got the red, white, and blue on. What you mean?
He looked good in it though.
Did he? I didn't like that suit. I thought that shit was trash.
Ooh, damn. Well,
that was not drip.
They've changed it up for the movie, so don't worry.
Okay.
That
okay.
hoe out of here, just like that. So.
Okay. But yeah, back to the conversation that they had.
So look, hold on. Let me make that point. If this nigga don't get a new suit for his new movie, Jesus Christ, this nigga went through like 5 movies with one suit. Finally got one new suit for Infinity War. He damn well better have like 3 new suits in this new movie.
Yeah. I said Iron Wars. I meant Armor Wars.
But... Armor Wars, yeah. Talk about it. And in the movie called Armor Wars, this man better have a 20 suit. 20 suits.
So back to the conversation, between Nick Fury and Rhodes. I just thought it was very interesting. And again, just the two black men, the two stately black men having this conversation. And yes, I was looking at the comparison and contrast of that. Like you see when he first calls Rhodey, and Rhodey's surrounded by these white folks, and he's surrounded by his own essentially Secret Service and his assistants and this and that. He has become the man, right? The man that I don't even want to say he was fighting before because I just felt like he was always on their side, but he's become the man, right? Yes. And now you have Nick on the outskirts of things looking crazy out in the streets, right? And for him to bring him in and be like, look, I actually tried to help you and you got me looking crazy and you're not deserving. Like to me, he kind of basically told Fury that he was mediocre. Mm-hmm. And that shit was cold.
Cold. That man said the same people I share an ancestral heritage with. I can tell you you're washed right now.
But why?
That's this moment.
But and because I just
felt like you've been waiting for that, right? Is that what you about to ask? Felt like Rhodes had been waiting for this one. Like, man, fuck this nigga Nick. I can't wait for the day, nigga. I'm going. Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Joyner Lucas's new video called Broski.
Not really. Yeah.
You should watch that actually because
I doubt it. No shots, but
right, as he says, I doubt it. But
I try to
but
avoid him after
Rhodey
that.
is giving me broski.
I watched
in
that
this.
one Joyner Lucas video, and that was minutes of my life I'll never get back. And you know,
Well, no, this one is cool, but the reason why I'm mentioning it, a lot of people have seen it, particularly this week, and
a lot of people saw that last one.
Rhodey reminds me of a broski, just in terms of what you said about you've been waiting all this time to say some shit to this person that you just had some bones to pick with, or you playing like you with them, you playing like you about them, and you love them, but then you basically got haterade, and you.
Oh wow, like a Mr. Curtis.
That, yes, but moving on. Moving on. I mean, as a black man, Ben, now that you represent the one black man on the show, how did you feel about this very black man conversation?
Well, thank you. I'm glad I represent the one black man on this show. Yeah, because I don't represent all black men. I thought it was an interesting conversation, but like I say, it was also kind of a straightforward conversation where Rhodes is a cop, and you know he's definitely fully accepted his role as a cop. He's always been a cop. You know, he was on the side of the cops in Civil War, and he's still a cop to this day. And Nick, while he is out there, is facing a real threat. And it's kind of like Rhodes is, like I say, I just think sometimes this show, so far at least, has had a lot of characters acting like idiots, so the plot can move
Is
around.
Rhodes all the way wrong, though, particularly when he interrogates Nick Fury, saying, and really emphasizes it's, he talks to Fury, like he basically shades the fuck out of Fury, and then says, okay, your war. Like he's like, why? Like, and he has a point there. Like Nick is basically almost making this about himself, and sure, you can blame him, but he's like, no one can help me. I got to do this, and it's just like you created the Avengers. You should know understand out of anybody, you can't do shit by yourself.
Yeah, and also the idea that the Skrulls would just take over the Avengers. Why wouldn't they just take over the Avengers if they, I guess right now there are no Avengers and they don't know who they are, but they could always take over. They could always show up as Spider-Man. They could show up as anybody right now and be like, I'm that dude, you know?
But I think he meant from the standpoint of they could get like kidnapped and the whole DNA situation happen.
But he don't know about that yet. None of them know that these niggas is working on Super Skrulls. That's a whole nother level, you know? So it's just, you know, that was kind of like, you know, their way of hand waving out the fact that they're not paying none of these niggas to show up. Besides a cameo we might get, you know? I'm sure we're going to get a cameo from somebody at some point, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
How do you feel about, I almost called her Daenerys Targaryen. How do you feel about Gaia and that whole relationship between her and Gravik? Because I wholeheartedly believe that Gravik knows she's lying and been liaising with her dad and all this stuff.
Definitely. Yeah. He just playing along to, you know, use her for what he can until, you know, he decides to murk her, and she's trying to play him along until she decides to murk him.
Like, he been giving her, like, clear side eyes, like, to her face.
Yeah.
And, like,
whenever she's the other dude.
Like, when she said something, like, when she was on a computer snooping around about the DNA experiments, and then she switched it real quick to the one that looks like your little Yachty, and then she was just like, oh, he's loyal. And then Gravik looked at her and said, loyalty, huh? Like, you know, like he knows.
Yeah.
So they're both just playing each other.
Yeah, they both know. This is the Cold War still going on. You know, they know. But they can't kill each other just yet, just like Russia and, you know, U.S., because it'll cause other problems. So that's all that is. I like her in this role, though, I have to say.
I do like her in this role, too. I will say that. Agreed.
Hope she gets more to do.
I don't remember her name, her character name in the show, but how are you clocking this white woman who's like basically I keep on her Terminator Falsworth.
Sonya Falsworth. Yes.
Are you clocking how she moving right now?
In love with her. And the Falsworths are a family in the comics that goes far back there. She's related at some point to the Union Jack. And she even mentions that there was a great spy master who started a tradition to put the clocks up there. I don't know what that is. I think that was just made for the show. But Union Jack is a character from the comics. He's like the British version of Captain America. Like I talked about him last week. He holds a piece, and he wears the Union Jack, the British flag, as his costume. But he got the gat. And he doesn't have any super soldier serum. And it's usually, you know, one person was Union Jack back in World War II, and then there was another person in the modern era who was Union Jack. and they're related. They're always in the Falsworth family.
Okay, so she's just about it.
Yeah, but this particular character was created for the MCU, and I'm not sure if we will see Union Jack or any of the rest of the Falsworth, but she's about it, and I love her. I think the actress is phenomenal, and I just think she's hilarious with her, scorched earth.
Her delivery.
We're going to do this the hard way or that way. Okay, fine, it's going to be that way.
He said she would the easy way or the other way.
Yeah, here comes the torture, no problem. Yeah.
And unflinching as well.
And smiling while doing it,
Right.
Yeah, so I love her. Yeah.
Okay. Any other characters?
Don't agree with her either, foolish.
No, her approach is wild as fuck, but it is what it is. Any other characters that you wanted to talk about and mention? I pretty much mentioned most of the people who showed up here, including, again, the council, that round table, who decided to do a coup and vote Gravik in as Skrull General.
Yeah.
Was that smart?
No. Once again, no. Come on, of course not. Who was the East Indian looking woman who Gravik talked to and was like, "You made all this possible"? Because she wasn't the scientists who were working on the harvest on the Super Skrull shit.
You mean in the council?
No. When he leaves the thing, he goes back to
when he leaves the council?
Yeah, he goes back to the hideout and he stops at some woman while everyone's cheering and he's like, "You made all this possible."
All right, let me go back to that because I don't think I remember exactly when that was or what he says.
Yeah, I have no
idea. I see her now. Okay. I don't know who that is.
No clue.
She says, "Thank you, sir. Without you, this wouldn't be possible." Then it zooms in on her face and she just shakes his hand. I assume she was one of the scientists.
You got me, folks. Yeah,
Have you seen her before? Remember, it's only the second episode.
I don't remember her. Y'all got me. Anyone, leave a comment. Let us know where we missed that because I have no clue who that woman is, and that was bugging me. Because, like I say, she's not the two. It's a couple who are running the machine, the harvest machine. And
yeah, there's the couple, the white couple.
Yep, and that's not her. So, yeah, dunno.
Well, we're going to understand her significance soon.
I'm sure.
And again, I just presume it's related to this whole the harvest and all this other stuff. So.
Yep, and that is something we've only seen the first. Well, I'd only seen the first 2 episodes, so going forward, everything is brand new to us as well.
Something is telling me that she's going to be a retcon type character, where they're going to say she was in all these other pertinent areas, in the background, that you see in all these past movies. She was there. She was actually this other person in disguise, right? And she's the one who got the DNA. Maybe she's the one who got the DNA from Groot and got the DNA from Extremis and all this other stuff. For the last 30 years, she's been the one who was pretending to be a child and a kid. Was that a man? Who was the Skrull that was leading Fury? When Homeboy blew up this town square in Moscow. That
was Gravik.
That was Gravik.
Yeah, it was Gravik.
That was just chasing. Okay, so no, I go back to my first thing where I'm like, they're probably gonna use her as a retcon and say she was in every fucking movie. You just didn't know. Just like Ant-Man was there, you just never saw him. And
where was Cull Obsidian? Oh yeah, his hand was somewhere in the Arctic.
Wow.
Yeah, right? Because he was in Wakanda fighting the Hulk.
Oh, and his thing got severed by Doctor Strange's portal?
Portal into it was somewhere in No, that's right. That happens early in the movie when he's fighting him in New York. And then Strange portal, puts his, but it's he drops him in the Arctic and then his hand gets severed into New York is what it is. Yes.
Okay.
So his hand was in New York, so pretty easy to find.
I guess, bro. Funny story. The internet had been saying, if we know that about Doctor Strange's portals, why didn't they just use that to sever Thanos' hand when he had the gauntlet? And I'm like, well, we wouldn't have a movie.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have a movie, and it's also one of those things where Cole was reaching for it. You can't just open a portal around his hand and then
think he's not gonna move
fucking his hand.
Yeah. It's got to be timed right, and it got to be perfect.
Yeah, that's just not so easy with a dude who's not gonna be Thanos was never reaching out to you to punch you, dog. He never needed to do that.
Do I look like an idiot to you? He would yell out there some shit like that.
This man was turning your ass to bubbles before he was doing that shit. Right.
Yeah, and then towards the end, you see Fury return to some home. some nice home in the suburbs somewhere, where he comes home to a Skrull woman who then shapeshifts into a black woman, and he goes in another room, puts on his wedding ring, kisses her. I kind of saw that. Like, I think it's kind of obvious that he would end up marrying or living with or domiciling with, I don't even know what to call it, a Skrull.
He's married. I mean, he puts the wedding ring back on.
Sure.
And the first time I watched it, I wasn't sure if he knew Shorty was a Skrull, and then the second time I watched it, I realized.
Of course he knows.
Yeah, and I don't. Well, look, this man is washed. But
if you've been married to somebody, I think you've been married a few years. I think you figured it out.
All right, but then the second time I watched it, I realized the woman is the same woman who introduces him to Gravik in '95.
Right,
so he's
that's
known
the same
her
black
for
woman.
a good minute. Like,
correct.
And they've probably been together most of that time.
Gravik's not his. No, that boy was already born.
No, Gravik is already
son.
born to other people who gets murdered. Yeah, no. And the physiology, I don't think of Skrulls and humans works like that, where they could have
Skrulls and humans can have babies.
I doubt it. It'd be
Wait, they can't. I thought they could procreate. No,
it'd be highly illogical if they could. Think about it. You know,
why?
Different planets. Like it would
Why?
be hot. They're different planets.
So what?
Reproductive organs are just gonna happen to be like ours when they're shapeshifters.
Who said
What are
about
their
being like?
organs
Wait.
like?
It doesn't necessarily have to be like ours. Can they somehow procreate with us and create babies? Can they use our DNA in some way, shape, or form? Maybe it's not through this sexual relations like we know, but can they do it?
Who knows? That's another story. But I would actually say you're right. They would probably have a better chance than most races.
And when they
Because of their
shapeshift, doesn't
shapeshifting
that don't they inside shapeshift too?
Yeah, that's what I would say. I would think they could, perhaps get working organs and then boom, 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 and yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
9 months later,
That's been me explain to the kid how babies come from. Well, we go boom, 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 and then you appeared.
Well, I mean, it starts with a little boom, 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 and then
hey,
and other things happen. And
were you surprised by that? Seeing that Fury was married to a Skrull?
Yes, the first time I was
How
like, "Oh
were you
shit!"
Surprised by that?
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, that's."
How could you be surprised by that? He's been fucking with these people for so long.
I was just surprised to see him being married.
That's different.
Yeah.
Being married, yes.
Because at one point he mentioned that. I think that goes back to what's the one where Cap that's the first Winter Soldier when Cap goes on the run, right? And when Fury goes on the run, when he shows up at his house, when he shows up at Cap's house, he says something about having a wife. But it seemed like he was saying that it's part of his cover story. So it didn't seem like that was a true thing, but they could reference that again, and go back to that if they want.
Like he actually did tell the truth all those years
or it
ago.
could just be. I mean, well, it's only Cap he told that to, and Cap ain't around to talk about it, so
right.
It don't really matter at this point. Yeah, so he's married, got his Skrull wife, so he's definitely not down with Falsworth's plan, and obviously Gravik's plan. So because Falsworth would definitely murder his wife with no problem.
Here's the thing. I have a question, and this has nothing to do with the whole wife thing. But when we go back and they say, "Oh, could we call it Avengers and stuff?" What Avengers? Who the fuck are they calling? There's nobody to call. Who? Nat is dead. Hawkeye washed. Who the fuck knows where Iron Man is? Tony.
Who the hell knows where Thor is?
Who the hell knows where Thor is? Well, we know he's in outer fucking space somewhere. Oh,
Captain Marvel
in space, or he's trying to save if it's coming at the same time, and he in that other dimension trying to get homegirl.
No, there's a few because they
Captain America's dead.
They've even been having meetings. Captain Marvel, Rocket Raccoon, Shang-Chi was introduced to them. Wong.
Okay.
Yeah, they've already.
But are they considered the new Avengers though?
Yes, they've been meeting as they're unless they got another name like the Ultimates. They've been meeting as a team. Remember, that was shown at the end of Shang-Chi. That all them, the Hulk is still meeting with them. So She-Hulk would be now involved because, Hulk would reference them. So there is a team you could form, So, yeah, there is a potential. It's not the old Avengers, that's for sure.
No. But Hawkeye, a team that you would trust with your life?
I mean, you're going to have to at some point.
I love how you said, I mean. It wasn't a definitive yes. You just said, I mean, I ain't got no choice.
He had no choice in the first one when he formed the Avengers. It was just, this is who he had and hope it worked out. They spent most of the first movie fighting. So, it worked out at the end.
But I also felt like they were kind of matured at that point, right? Like,
Nah, not especially. Tony Stark was far from mature. Bruce
Well, not
Banner,
a mature person, but matured in
well,
terms
that's
of
what
their
matters.
skill.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Bruce Banner is a walking time bomb. They had problems on the first Avengers. Like, Captain America was cool. Black Widow's an ex-murderer, with all kind of issues of her own. Captain America's a man out of time, so he got issues. Like, they had issues, It's not like they were Thor, obviously, issues. Daddy's, issues, all that type of shit. Look, no. I trust Shang-Chi more, Shuri, call up Shuri, definitely.
When are they gonna call up Young Avengers? Like, when are they gonna
Well,
call
they've already
up...
got Hawkeye, she like if you call
mean the
Clint
new
Barton,
Hawkeye?
he would be like, yo, call Shorty, call Kate. I'm done.
Kate.
I'm washed. Like, I'm here with the fam, call Kate, So that's how you would get the new Young Avengers. It's like, Kate would come in. Who else are they shown? Thor's little shorty.
Oh yeah, the little girl.
Yeah, the Iron Patriot would, the dude from Cap is around, But, I don't think they're going to be called up like that at all. That's the thing.
Right.
I think, when, the next Avengers movie is still going to be grown-ass Avengers. It ain't going to be the young
Grown-ass
Avengers,
Avengers, right.
Yeah.
I just got to say it again. I feel like I'm saying this like every Disney Plus show. Where is Valentina? Where is her and her nigga? It's like, I want to see her and I want to see that idiot, your favorite, that nigga, the fake Captain America. What is that man's name that got served by the Dora Milaje?
U.S. agent.
Yes, him.
Yes. John, walk it out.
Because he's so fucking funny in his idiocy. So I want to see him.
I doubt you see him. You probably see Valentina, but, I say, look, remember, these contracts only go so far, fam. Not everybody's going to be in every show. So.
Or they can see, they got a piece of her. You know how she says like 5 words. And
yeah, Valentina, I definitely think will show up in this. This is Secret Invasion. At some point, I feel like she'll show up. Now,
yeah.
Your boy, I doubt we see him again till Thunderbolts.
Whatever. I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about it. I love him, but I'll wait.
So what are we hopeful for, or what are we predicting is happening in episode 3 of Secret Invasion?
And I don't know. I'll be honest. Like right now,
I don't know where this is going.
Yeah, and the show is not really like blowing my mind. Where I'm like, ooh, it's just like, all right. Well, this guy's got an idiot plan, and Fury's got to stop him.
Like, I am interested to see what's happening in the story, but to your point, I'm not like, I need to rush to the TV every week. Like, I don't feel that way quite yet. I don't know if I will, but we do got to give it time. Also, the crazy part is there's not a lot of time anyway, right?
No,
like
there's
it's only
4
6
more
episodes.
Yeah.
Right, and there's only 6 episodes total, 4 more to go. And it's just like, well, what kind of ground are they going to cover? And they literally have to go, through heaven and earth in terms of covering a lot of ground in the next 2 episodes, right? So, like, what could they possibly do? I mean, what is the conflict right now? Gravik has been named Skrull General. Yes. Gravik has been given essentially absolute power to do whatever the fuck he wants with the secret Skrull army. Nick Fury is 110% rogue right now. He's going to do what the fuck he want to do. All his niggas is dead and or excommunicado. And, I mean, he's basically John Wick at this point, right? And and then you have Gaia, who's essentially a double agent at this point. What the fuck else is happening? Like, Gravis is going to continue to try to kill everybody he can. So, I mean, let the bodies hit the floor. But what else is happening? And who, basically, to me, it's like, okay, now we're at the point where Fury has to find some more allies. Where is he finding these people? He can't do this shit alone. As much as he wants to say, this is my war, he can't do it by himself. No man's an island. Where's your help? Where's the help?
That's a good question. Now that, I'm interested. Will we see other people come in? I don't think so. I mean, I think he needs to rally around with Talos, his daughter. He gonna have to get what's her name on his side.
Agent Coulson ain't coming. Who the fuck's helping him?
He has to get Falsworth on his side. He has to figure that relationship out where, he's like, you can't murder all these people,
She's gonna be like, why not?
Yeah, well,
she's gonna say, give me a good reason why I shouldn't.
Yeah, he's gonna have to convince her because that's the only way that he can win this fight. And like we said, this is not a show where we're gonna see somebody introduced in the 3rd episode who hasn't already been there. Like maybe
you don't think so?
Maybe 1 or 2 more players, but most of the players are set at this point. Because everyone was introduced pretty much in the 1st episode.
But if most of the players are set, who the hell else? Like, what happens next? Are they going to just reveal a Super Skrull next? Like, what happens next? Like,
who knows?
I don't. And maybe that's what I'm arguing about, which is
Like, what more can Gravik do before he just blows up the planet?
I was going to say this is more like a privileged viewpoint about the fact that I can't track what's really should happen next because nothing seems logical about what would happen next. Because I don't see, you said that the plays are set, but I don't see where this goes.
Well,
in the next episode.
In the next episode, Gravik is to continue to try and develop the Super Skrull shit. You know, I don't know why. Because
it's not developed already? I thought he said it's almost time for harvest.
No, they keep trying to do it. Remember, the scientists are sitting there pulling the trigger, and that shit ain't working every time.
And she was like, you don't have it or something. I don't know what it is.
So he's still trying to gather information, you know, ingredients, whatever, to cook his pot, his stew. So, yeah.
He's like Link.
Yeah, you know, he's out there, got to get the right recipe. So we'll see what happens. You know,
dubious food.
I made so many dubious meals, boy.
Dubious meal, bro.
So many, bro. I spent so much time on meals.
Dubious. Yo, when I first played that game and it said dubious, I fucking cried.
Yeah. Like, I ate that shit too every time. Fuck out of here.
Got sick, boy.
Yeah.
Not you damaging yourself.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild shit, bro.
Can't let it go to waste. So, yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not that invested so far. You know, I just don't really care to even contemplate. I'm like,
do you hope it will change for you? Because we got 4 episodes, bro.
I really hope it'll change. I really hope by next episode something, because that's probably, you need a convincing villain, and I do not feel like Gravik is convincing.
You think he's convincing?
No.
You think Falsworth would be more convincing?
No, neither of them are convincing because both of them are too extreme, and it makes no logical sense. You know, like that's the I need a villain like the Flag Smashers. I was like with them up until they started.
Thanos made logical sense to you?
Yes. Half of the people gotta go, dog. You know, it's like
logic would also say, hey, maybe I give more, so there's abundance for everybody.
Yeah, but then those people will just, you know, eventually steal that too. Fuck it. You know, look, I know, but at the same time, I wasn't really down with Thanos either. I never have been. You know,
but you thought he's more logical than Gravik?
No, I think the logical people were like, you know, Killmonger had some good ideas. The Flag Smashers had some good ideas. You know,
they had some good ideas, but you fucking shade the Flag Smashers every chance you get.
Oh no, but I've well explained that. I was fully down with them until I felt the writing failed them as characters. I felt like it was like, no, we got to make y'all villains, you know, and that's why I felt it was silly. And then I shaded them because they got blown up, and I thought that was fucking hilarious. Like the fact that their whole thing just ended in a van, you know, like
right.
That's the end of y'all,
right? Do you think there's now where people talk about MCU fatigue, and you know, in terms of the films, are you thinking we're experiencing Disney Plus fatigue?
No. I think that when things are exceptional, they're exceptional, and when things are average, they're average, and I think the show is average.
Okay.
In the story, like I think the show is just average so far, and because of that, it's just like that's why it's getting an average reaction.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Do you have anything else to say about episode 2 of...
Not really.
Secret Invasion. Promises.
It's time to wrap this up.
That being said, everybody, we appreciate you. We appreciate your views. We appreciate you listening and everything that you do. Please make sure you are subscribed, followed, all those words, smash the like button, all that stuff, all those activities and actions we ask you to do. Please do that when it comes to all things For All Nerds. Type that into your Googles and all of our stuff will come up. For All Nerds TV, For All Nerds on your favorite podcast and or video platform. We are everywhere. Thank you to everyone who follows us.
Nick is at least 65, right?
Maybe.
Like, at least, yeah. No, guaranteed. He was talking about a train ride. That man... You know, with in the
but he was talking about his mom and being in Jim Crow cars. Yeah,
that man lived through 1950s.
He lived through Jim Crow eras.
Yeah, that man's 65. He pushing.
I don't know where that came from, but yes.
I've been thinking about it for a while. You asked me to have anything else.
Oh,
gotcha.
About
how old that dude was. So
gotcha. Yeah. Thank you for everyone who's following us on the socials at For All Nerds. I'm Tatiana King. He's DJ Ben Hameen. You can look us up. We are on the interwebs everywhere, every day, all the time. On TikTok, on IG, on the Twitters. I think we're on Blue Skies too. So if you on there, hit us up.
And I'm on there too. I got up on that hoe.
Excellent. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I got up on that hoe. make sure a few things. You enjoyed what you hear, like what you see, enjoy what we do. Please support us. You can support us by following us and listening to us and sharing and telling people about us. Word of mouth is one of the best ways to get this party going. But also, you can go to ForAllNerds.com. Help a brother out and buy one of our
That's how to go on our intro.
Yeah. Racism is distracting. That's going to be our new tea. But you see these anti-Skrulls social club shirts, the fire shirts. I really, this is one of my favorite designs that we've had on this, honestly. And it's quality. Please, again, ForAllNerds.com to get the anti-Skrull social club, as well as other amazing, beautiful, stupendous, fantastic designs by our amazing design partners, and from the minds of both Ben Amin and myself. Make sure you also go to patreon.com/ForAllNerds. Every tier is a good tier, and only on the Patreon do you get access to things like tickets or screenings first before everybody else, or we will give away free shit only to you guys because y'all are going above and beyond as part of the financial fam. Thank you very, very, very much. And make sure we are going to give you guys more detail too. Make sure you are locked into our stuff that we're doing in the streets, because October 19th, we are going to be at the Blacksonian, as Ben Hameen likes to call it. A lot of people like to call it the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C. We are going to be giving a talk at the Oprah Winfrey Theater. Very prestigious. We are so happy and thrilled and honored to have been selected to speak there. So that's also during Howard Homecoming Week. We are HU alums, so you know we're going to be there heavy in full effect. We believe the tickets are free for those who have been asking us. We are going to give you confirmation on that. We hope so.
Yeah, I hope. I
hope
have
so.
no idea.
I would imagine you at least probably need to register someplace. So,
Yeah,
but we have asked, and we will give y'all the deets as soon as we have it. Also, make sure y'all are saluting this man right here, DJ Benjamin, the author. He and Mellow Brown, brother Mellow Brown, help a brother out, Mellow Brown, have created again, this is, I'm honestly still in awe, Ben. I mean, I can't fucking hold you like that. Like
I am.
They created a graphic novel in partnership with the estate of Jimi Hendrix. So this is some official shit. This ain't no disrespect, but like this ain't no fanfic shit. Like this is some official shit. They created a graphic novel called Hendrix about and Ben Amin can tell you more, but just inspired by the life and times and a lot of stuff you don't really know about Jimi and all the creativity behind him. And it's absolutely beautiful in the way it looks. It's absolutely beautiful and gorgeous in the story. And I don't know too much about it. I've seen some stuff, and this shit is out of the fucking ballpark. Okay, so I wanted to be one of the people who see this stuff fresh. And I'm telling y'all, just from the images alone, this shit is mind-boggling. Please make sure you pre-order. Pre-order is the most important thing you can do when it comes to comics, graphic novels, that whole lane, even just regular novels too. I just think pre-ordering is important because that signals to these publishers and the people who are actually printing these books that, hey, there is demand here and people want to see this. So make sure you're pre-ordering. Number one, go to your local comic book or bookshop to do the pre-order, number one. If you don't have none of that, you can go to the other big body shops. But we tell you, just go to the local independently owned stuff first. And I believe it comes out when? November what?
November 7th. And
November 7th.
On that pre-ordering note, let me just say that because I learned this recently, it's really important because of weight and how much shipping costs. So especially for the local stores, they have to know exactly how much they're going to pay for shipping that month when they're ordering these books. So it's really important. Go into your local comic book store or your local bookstore. Tell them you want Jimi Hendrix Purple Haze. They can pull it right up. I don't know the SKU number offhand, but it comes right up when you search for it. It's written by me, DJ Ben Amin, and Mellow Brown, my brother, my partner for life, and our artist is Tom Mandrake, a motherfucking legend.
The legend.
In the game. Iconic, one of the greats. And like Tatiana said, it's inspired by Jimi Hendrix, but it's also allegorical tale where it's a science fiction Afrofuturistic version of Hendrix in this story. and it's related to a specific point in his career. There's not too much more I want to say. Mello did say that, and I can say this, it's about a point when an artist has to reinvent themselves and what it takes to do that. And there's all kind of other shit in it. It features tributes and homages to just everything that I've ever grown up to. As I say, it's like a love letter to black music. And I'm just completely in love with it, and I can't wait for everyone to read it. So November 7th, so please go out right now, pre-order. Jimi Hendrix Purple Haze, coming from Titan Comics. Shout outs to David, our esteemed editor over at Titan Comics.
Yeah, man. And I did a deep dive interview I actually ambushed him with a full-fledged interview a few weeks back. So if you look on your podcast platform, or you look on YouTube, just search for ForAllNerds Jimi Hendrix, and you'll see that interview that I did with Ben Hameen to get more, if you want to get more in depth of what the story's about and the whole process of creating this with Mello, please definitely watch that as well.
Yep, and soon as we get, as I can talk more, we're about to start releasing like some colored pages from it, and we'll be doing more interviews, and we'll definitely come back through Mello. I want to have Mello and Tom to come through, and we can just talk about everything then once we can really start revealing a little bit more about the plot and things like that. So,
absolutely. So, as always, keep it locked here. Views from the 616, powered by ForAllNerds. We will be back next week with episode 3 review of Secret Invasion. And maybe they'll stop saying Nick Fury is so old. Will they?
I think we should leave something in the comments, if you've been listening this long. As always, say Nick Fury isn't washed.
Peace. Love you.
It's a lie, but, go ahead and, make that man feel good. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Ben Hameen, and thank you for watching that video that you just watched. Make sure you hit the buttons below, that like, that subscribe, do all that right now.